What's up, everybody? Lonnie Beck here, along with Master Sam at Dragon Gym. As you can tell,
we're very on brand today.
All of our branding today.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about something that you sent me a really long time ago. Something that I have like the paper printout and have another one in front of me as well. Can you talk about like what it is and where it came from?
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about is something that we've called the Five Criterion. Growing up, so in my sort of like family history, there's a gym called Maharudra Viyamagar, something like that. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, but it was a gym established in 1950s India in a small town called Midnapur that my grandfather and a couple other people started back then, and the focus was on a couple of different things. One was yoga. The other was strength training, bodybuilding, weightlifting, and wrestling. And I visited that gym years and years and years ago, and it was just such a cool thing to see, sort of things coming full circle.
Yeah.
With Dragon Gym and our martial arts training. So, growing up, studying under my grandfather, this is something that was sort of ingrained in us, much like martial arts have different tenets. There's tenets of Taekwondo, and then meaning of Musa, Dragon Gym spirit, and more recently, what we've developed is what's called the Dragon Gym precepts. And the Dragon Gym precepts we've talked about on Facebook and other things quite a bit. And the cool thing about the precepts is it was largely
it was the
codified by Master Lonnie's students, the junior black belts. And what they did was they took different pieces of these different things and also their own experience to put this together. So, long story short, is the Five Criterion is one of the things that informs what we do, philosophically and mentally, as well as practically. So we thought, you know what, let's take it back and go to some of the foundational documents.
Well, I think especially with the way that the sort of the ethos of the world has been over the last couple of months or years or however long it's been, eternity, I guess. Mm-hmm. The goal really is to simplify. And how do you do something like that? And I think that these five criterion really help you sort of boil things down, let everything percolate, so then you can focus on what fulfills you, what's important to you, and then how you can ultimately be happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think this year, if you're watching this presently, 2020 has been a year of chaos.
It's a dumpster fire.
Yes.
If you let it be a dumpster fire, it will be
exactly.
A dumpster fire.
And I think it's so easy to get pulled into that, or the it's like a highway. When there's an accident, it's going southbound, but you're going northbound, but still there's a traffic jam on northbound.
They call that the gaper delay.
The gaper delay,
yeah.
Because you can't turn away from the chaos. It draws us in. It's human nature. So you need some sort of foundational principle, an operating system for humans, if you will.
And I'll say that I think right now one of the most important things is our health, right? I mean, obviously that's what's surrounding the world's troubles right now is there's this virus, there's all this stuff going around. And you hit that first criterion, right? Let me say it.
Yeah, so let's toss it up. So the five criterion.
Yep.
Criterion.
I don't know, whatever you say, it's probably wrong.
It's probably wrong. To use or enjoy life to the fullest sense of the term, one must have the following. And then a list of five things follow. So number one
is a physique to withstand all odds and be free from ailments as far as practicable. So building our body, our health, right? This doesn't stop at physical health. Mm-hmm. And as we know, when you become healthier, when you exercise, when you eat properly, when you limit alcohol, when you do all that stuff, that increases your mental health as well.
Yeah.
Right? So when we're talking about, a physique, that's not just our bodies, right? It's our minds, it's our soul, it's our peace of mind. The best way to do all that stuff, simple, get in shape.
So I think health, we can break it down into three areas. There's physical health, mental health, and what often gets forgotten is emotional health.
Yeah.
And that sort of dovetails into number two. But let's stick on number one first. There's a reason number one is a physique to withstand all odds and be free from ailments as far as practical. So number one, remember, this is coming out of a gym setting, a martial arts studio setting would be equivalent. Like what we're doing very specifically is building our bodies, building our health. Let's not forget that. In martial arts, we talk about this a lot, is, everybody puts on their door like martial arts and fitness. Well, how much meaning is there, right? And the joke is like, is your school martial arts and fitness, or is it martial arts and fatness? I'm not so sure. So let's remember, like, you study martial arts because there are so many beneficial side effects. You go to the gym and you get in shape because there are so many beneficial side effects. But don't forget about the main effect. You learn martial arts to learn martial arts, to kick, to punch, to defend yourself, to fight. You go to the gym to physically get healthy, to build a physique that can withstand all odds. What I think often gets forgotten is, at first, it sounds selfish, right? It's like, well, I gotta be strong and you gotta be strong. But really, and this is one thing that Master Lani says all the time, and it always resonates with me, is like, you have to be the person that the people you care about need you to be.
Yeah.
And if you're not healthy, you can't take care of others.
Yeah.
And that's really, to me, what this number one is.
It comes down to I use this analogy so many times when you're in an airplane and they talk about the cabin losing pressure. It's like, you got to put the mask on yourself first, right? Like, that seems such a selfish thing to do. Like, no, I'm going to get the oxygen and put it on my daughter. Right? No, you need to put it on yourself first, because if you're not well, if you can't breathe, guess what? Everyone else around you is going to suffer, right? And I'm sure that we've seen that when we've gone through highs and lows in life, and you're not yourself and you're a shell of yourself. Everybody else that relies on you, it's a trickle down. They suffer, right? So that sort of parlays us into number two.
Number two. So we talked about emotional health, but number two is an object of love. And I think for most of us, that object is another person.
Yeah. It's one of the things that I realized early in life is the only thing that I knew I really wanted to be was a dad, right? Mm-hmm. And once I fulfilled that role, it was like, then I really, like, listen, I love my wife, but somebody said something to me when my wife was pregnant. I was like, how dare you? They were like, you think you love your wife? Just wait until you see this kid, right? Wait until you feel this. And it's like, the love it's just different. And when you see something that relies on you so much, you give yourself, everything of yourself to that thing that you love, it makes everything else in life have a lot more perspective, and you start to get that back. That's what fulfills me as a human, at least. That object of love is my family. It's my wife. It's my daughter.
There's when people talk about mindset, people talk about you have a scarcity mindset or an abundance mindset, right? And I think there's a saying, from abundance he took abundance, and abundance remained. And that's, whatever theological background that comes from, is this idea of abundance. And when you have an object of love, it sort of opens the door to that. Is, you think you can care about someone like you're maxed out. There's no way.
No.
Right? Like, how am I going to divide this love that I have? Then you have children, or you meet the right person, or however that grows, and then you realize, wow, this didn't divide, it multiplied.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for. That's what you need.
I like that.
Number two is to have that object of love.
Yep. Next.
Number three. All right, this is the one we all really, really need to talk about. And I think in American culture, oddly, people don't like to say this out loud, but everybody's thinking it. Number three is you need to have a sufficient income to keep yourself free from anxiety.
Let's figure this out. Divorce rates are really, really high.
Mm-hmm.
And there's statistics on divorce rates. In fact, a lot of the times they ask people why they're getting divorced. The majority of the fights, the majority of divorce, the majority of anxiety is like, how am I going to pay my mortgage? How can I pay these maxed out credit cards? They're going to repo my car. I can't afford insurance. all of that stuff, all of that anxiety, that internal worry affects you. Affects you, guess what? Makes you a shell of yourself. And now we're back at number one.
Back at number one,
right?
We're back into that like scarcity mindset where everything feels like, we're just scavenging animals.
Right.
And not, flourishing human beings. And this idea of money and income sometimes is a tough subject.
Yeah, it comes off as greed or lack of empathy for others.
Exactly. But the reality is most of us have decided to live in this society, materialistic society. There are those. You're definitely not watching us on Facebook.
They're in a yurt somewhere in
Arizona. But
yeah,
you're in the jungle meditating, sure. But most of us, we need to have that sufficient income to keep us free from anxiety. What are the things that cause anxiety in your life? And I go back again to this wise man here, where I forget where we were driving, but we always have these great conversations on drives to the airport, from the airport to New York, back, stuck in traffic, where it's, how many problems do you have, and how many of those problems can just be solved by having more money? Right? If they can be solved by having more money, then they're not real problems. They're not health problems. They're not, existential problems. Is go out and either create more income or cut your expenses. It's not about having as much money as possible. It's sufficient.
And I talk to like some of the younger kids that are, a part of the gym, and we have these conversations with these kids that we've been teaching since they've been kids, and now they're in their 20s and they're starting to form, very altruistic opinions, and they're like, yeah, but money, it's not about that. And I'm like, but just wait, because at some point it will be. And if you can start to plan for that now and prepare yourself for that now, you're going to be a heck of a lot better off.
It's about what the money does for you. Right? So, the top level, people say all the time, is like money buys you two things, time and freedom.
Yeah.
Which are very, very difficult to attain any other way, right? Time is the only thing that's always running out. But more practically, what does money buy you, right? Time with someone.
Number two.
Freedom to provide for someone else. So really think about it in tangible, practical terms, what each of these 5 criterion mean for you in your life.
Katie Harper, of course, writes cream. Cash rules everything around me. Wu-Tang. Number 4. This one, I think the large majority of working Americans just let go.
Adults. I think adults.
Adults, yeah.
Just sort of give up on it.
At some point, they had something like this in their life, and then they're like, you know what? I just don't have time, or I'm not willing to make time.
And that is, I don't do that.
A hobby, a pursuit for pleasure, other than your main occupation. Now, this one kind of hits us because we've been in martial arts since we were kids. This is part of our hobby, right? It's so funny how this place can sort of identify us. It's our job, it's our hobby, it's our release, it's the place that we go to, clear our minds. But at some point, we need to be able to step back and say, there's something else there. Right?
There's got to be something else that you do. And, in one sense, it's like, okay, is it the holy grail where you get sufficient income from a pursuit of pleasure?
Yeah.
Sure, right? But it doesn't stay that way forever most of the time. I'm sure there's some, people that have really figured it out. But ultimately, there's a human desire for growth and going beyond and going to the next step. And so it's like when you reach one level of success, you're not finished. It just begets the desire to reach another level of success, as it should. So you just look at our own experience. It's okay, we love martial arts, and we see that there's a huge potential to generate sufficient income doing it. So we do that. And then a couple years go by, it's like, oh, well, this Muay Thai thing looks pretty interesting.
Right.
So, we have our occupation of martial arts, but then also the hobby of martial arts, which is a new, different martial art.
Right.
Then a couple more years go by, oh, wow, this Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu thing looks pretty good.
Exactly right.
Or this kettlebell thing, or this or that. So, even within what you might perceive as an umbrella of one occupation, there are ways to hobbitize it,
Yeah.
and create that mental interest anyway.
Is that a word?
No, I just made it up.
Hobbitize, TM. So we are part of a group of really successful entrepreneurs, attorneys, physicians, and things like that. And one of the things that I noticed being with them last month was a lot of those people, their jobs oftentimes consume them, right? Mm-hmm. They're estate attorneys and they're doing all this high level stuff, and these guys are physicians running different things. But almost every single one of them, they're either taking voice lessons, learning how to play guitar, doing equestrian, doing all this stuff where they're taking time from their family. It might be an hour a week. It might be 2 hours a week or less, doesn't matter. But they're all going out there and they're learning something new. They're being a student of something. They're surrendering themselves to a coach of some sort. And just talking to them about what they're doing, you can see the sense of fulfillment coming through on their face. And again, that makes them a better person. It all comes back to how we feel about ourselves.
It's amazing. You'll see like the number of high level either entrepreneurs or like C-level type people that dedicate a good amount of time to a hobby and a way to unplug and relax. Is like the number of musicians, like incredible guitar players in that group. It's surprising.
It's one of the things that we do every single time we go out there.
But there's always something to sort of have that fulfillment outside of it. And I think this also dovetails in number 5 is, you need to have a job which is, you can tell this has been translated, a job which is not uninteresting. So I guess you could just say an interesting job.
An interesting job.
But the wording is maybe it's very specific, a job which is not uninteresting. So you need to have that sufficient income, and I think part of what that means is at a certain point, like you may not have your ideal occupation, but you just got to do the work and make the money.
Right. And
because exactly, it's a vehicle to get somewhere else that you need to be in, that you want to be. But at the same time, it shouldn't be uninteresting. You should not relegate yourself to work in some sort of soul-crushing job just to make money.
Right.
You have to, like maybe you're there for now, but you have to be thinking and you have to be working for a better way.
I think it comes down to understanding, what you want when you're talking about that particular box of employment. And a lot of people find their passion. They find their identity in their work. But a lot of people, have a job that might be able to get them the other things that they want in life, but it's not necessarily soul crushing. Then there's other people that are stuck in jobs where they're there just punching boxes. They sort of go on autopilot. They're not happy with it. It doesn't challenge them. They know it, but they might be too afraid to sort of say, let me break free from these chains. This is now I'm going to change something. And I think that there's quite a few people that I know personally that are in that rut, and that's listen, that's okay. We've all been there. I've been there before in my life as well, but it's trying to find something that challenges you and gets you out of that sort of comfort zone that everybody sticks in. It's a hard thing to do, especially when it comes to your career, especially at times like this.
But there are things that you can do that are sort of tangential, that enable you to improve or expand in more centralized or important areas. So you can do something in this hobby, let's say, side of your life that is very challenging mentally, physically, or some other way that forces you to get out of your comfort zone. And that expansion of possibilities applies to all areas of your life, right? When you do something, we were talking about, so we've been into the weightlifting, powerlifting lately. This year has sort of that's been the thing. And right now, we have a really good coach. So number one, we surrendered to the coach. Like, we are coaches,
right?
But we have a coach. In many, actually, depending on the specific area. But right now, we're moving weights, repping weights that last year we would have thought are a max or like a reach, like there's no way I'm going to do that. If I'm lucky, you get that. And what that teaches you subconsciously is like, okay, if I follow the process, if I trust the system in place, I can do that. And it expands all the possibilities. When one thing that you thought was impossible becomes possible, many things that you think are impossible are also possible.
And it seems so like nebulous when you say that, because it's like there's nothing that anybody can really put their finger on to be like, that's something that I can do, and then that's going to be a leapfrog to something else. It's like all you got to do is try it. Like go out and give it a shot. Like I honestly, you're talking about weightlifting, so that's what I'll talk about, is I never thought like that I would be able to move the weight that I am moving now. Like I just didn't think that my wrist could handle it. I didn't think that my structure could handle it. And then you surrender yourself to this coach, and it's like, just do this, 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 and this. So what did I do? I did this, 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 and this, and X happened. And I was like, holy smokes. Never thought it was going to happen.
Right.
And then I can't tell you the endorphin rush, the roll of confidence that happened for weeks after that was just so powerful, and it led me to so many other things and breakthroughs, and it was just, it's really indescribable when you do something like that, So, want to rip through them one more time?
Yeah, let's summarize.
Cool.
The 5 criterion. To use or enjoy life to the fullest sense of the term, one must have the following. Number 1, a physique to withstand all odds and be free from ailments as far as practicable.
As far as practicable. Number 2, an object of love.
Number 3, a sufficient income to keep yourself free from anxiety.
4, a hobby. Go out and get yourself a hobby, people. A pursuit for pleasure other than your main occupation.
And number 5, a job which is not uninteresting. And let's close with this. Go out and find something that is going to expand your comfort zone today.
I love it. I'm going to do it too. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Peace.